So this week I celebrate my 1 year anniversary since moving out to the mountains and right now the desert. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. But a year ago this week, I moved out of Ellensburg, which is still close to Seattle, still part of the Seattle area, into Missoula, Montana, actually Helena, Montana. And so I celebrate the anniversary this week. So on the day of the anniversary, I went on a 24-hour fast. Now, one of the big reasons I fast is because I always get a sense of peace after 16 to 24 hours. And I find my social anxiety diminishes quite a lot. So if I'm going to a job interview, if I have significant social events, I often fast 16 hours before doing them. So I have big problems with crowded environments. If I'm going to a bowling alley, or if I have to go into public transportation of any sort, right, I have to fly somewhere, oh my god, I'll fast before then, right? Now, this week I decided to practice doing those things without resorting to fasting. I failed. So today I had a board game club that's held every week. And I decided to go there after only fasting 4 hours to kind of get my toes wet, because I didn't mind screwing up there. It wasn't as high stakes as some of the other events that I go to, right? Certainly not as high stakes as going to work or going to a job interview. And not nearly as high stakes as my favorite bowling alley. I have important connections there. The board game club, I'll sacrifice that. So I decided to practice with that. Let's just say I carry a heavy heart sometimes, especially when I'm not fasting. When I'm fasting, I'm lightweight. I'm there to have a fun time. I don't need to win every game. I got very heavy-hearted today. We were playing Ticket to Ride, and I wanted to make sure the score was counted correctly. And got very heavy-hearted and argued with some of my opponents about scoring. Nothing terribly loud, but when I was fasting, those things used to slide right off me. Yeah, so what if we don't count the score right? I'm there to have a good time, right? Anyways, that's the kind of problem I run into. Not a big deal, but it really highlighted the weakness I have with when I'm not fasting. I got to work on that, because sooner or later I'm going to have to go to work without having a fasted body. Sooner or later I'm going to have to go to a job interview where I just have to eat, right? I try to duck away from it. Sometimes my boss calls me unexpectedly and I'm not in a fasted state, and I tell him, can I call you back later? And really I'm not busy, but I just want to get myself into a fasted state before I have the discussion. My boss doesn't know this. Actually, he might, because he watches some of my YouTube videos. But he accepts it, and I call him back after I get into a fasted state. But I know I can only play this game for so long, right? Sooner or later, an emergency is going to come up when I'm not fasted, right? The fire alarm might come off, and I have to evacuate with everybody else into a crowded hallway when I'm not in a fasted state, right? Maybe something might happen, right? Life is full of twists and turns, right? You can't always expect things to only happen when you're fasted, right? I had a problem at my job. I think I already talked about this in a previous video. Sometimes I watch a little bit too much current events, and I let myself get too frightened by things. Now, I was working at a tutoring center, and one of my clients had shown up to the center with this gel candy made of cognac gel, which I knew was a choking hazard that had been banned in the United States years ago. She's from South Korea. My guess is that her family brought some home from South Korea. And she was eating it during class, and I was worried about her because she was talking and eating it at the same time. And I went to our break room to get some paper plates, and I asked her if she would, if she could. I even offered to we had some gloves as well. I put on some gloves. I even offered to put them on the paper plates for her so she wouldn't suck them out of the cup. And maybe I just watch too much current events. I mean, the number of people who have choked on that stuff is still only a small handful. Maybe I just watched too much current events. I got carried away with that. My boss was very upset that I had upset this kid over what my boss thought was a very trivial matter. You know, in retrospect, I should have just apologized to my boss. I'm sorry. You know, this is something that I've heard about, and I just wanted to be on the safe side. End of story, right? I got very heavy-hearted, and I defended myself, and I think I even pulled up the website about the dangers of this stuff, and I just made a fool of myself. I've learned a lot of times the simple answer is the best way to do it. Unfortunately, when I get a full stomach, that's when I get very heavy-hearted, defensive, arrogant, you name it, right? When I'm fasting, I would have never handled that situation that way. Anyways, I failed, and, I didn't fail. I have work to do, and I could have done better, and next time I'll give it another try, I guess. Thanks for watching.